Fulfillment, fulfilling your journey in life. What's going on, you amazing people, your friends? It is your pal, your career coach friend Phil here at FulPHILLment. It is 6 o'clock Eastern here in Atlanta. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever y'all are. We are so happy that you all are here tuning in live with us. And if you're tuning into the replay, if you are not able to make it to the live, please share the love this Valentine's Day. Give us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're here live as well, please comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Please share your feedback on this live. This one's going to be a really, really, really good one. And I wanted to bring up a very special guest for season 3, episode 7, the amazing Laura Doman. Laura, right? We met back in December here on LinkedIn through a mutual friend, Annalise Vance, who is another amazing and incredible person. But Laura, what is so special about Laura? She is just incredible. She owns her own company. She's a voiceover actress. She's a video coach. She's a content writer. She's a producer. She's a public speaker. I mean, she's all of these different things. And I love how she incorporates all of her just unique traits and value and talent all within her company, Laura Doman Productions. She's just, it's been really, really fun to get to know her as a person in just these few short months. I feel like I've known her for years, but we've only known each other since December. And when I knew on our first discussion, I'm like, I have to bring her on this live because we really need to talk about, right, how to be comfortable and confident on camera. Because as we know, social media, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, tuning in on her page or my page, right, video is all over the place, right? We got to find ways where we can get out on camera. And there was nobody better to introduce to y'all today than the amazing Laura. Laura, you are live with us. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, everybody. And I don't know how I'm going to live up to that. My gosh, Phil. I don't know who that person is, but I'd love to meet her too.
I think you know her very well. She sounds familiar, right?
Well, I am thrilled to be here. So thank you so much for having me. And I'm looking forward to
Absolutely.
interacting with everybody on the chat and afterwards, or we'll just have a great conversation, even if nobody shows up. I don't care.
Absolutely. And they will, right? I mean, they'll tune into the replay. And that's the thing, like, about lives, you know, they're so powerful because, I mean, you know how it is, right? Like, unscripted, we're real, we're raw with each other. It's going to be great. So I always like to ask this first question for our guests here tuning in and listening. I said a little bit about who you are, but I'd love for you to tell the audience, who is Laura? What is your story?
Okay. I have journeyed from corporate to creative. Years ago, I started off as an IT sales exec. And now I am working as an actor on camera, film, TV, commercial, industrials, voiceover. And also, as Phil was so sweet to point out, I'd like to work with business people to really help them become much better and more comfortable on camera themselves. Excuse me. Because after all, social media is all about video, right? And so that's taken me in so many different directions, working with people, helping them make some really powerfully great short social media videos. It's taken me also to the stage in a different way as an MC, as a moderator for a big conference that's coming up in Atlanta at the end of March, which I'm really excited about. So I like to work all facets. I love to speak. I've co-authored a book. In fact, it even came out in Korean recently, just to show you. This was a collaborative book.
Yes.
This was the original. We published it about a year and a half ago. And then I got this, boom, in Korean. Go.
How about that?
Never.
That's pretty
That
amazing.
was truly amazing. And it was a lot of fun. So you never know who you meet on this journey. And where you start in life doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up, because you can reinvent yourself. And all those skills that you pick up along the way, repackage them, repurpose them, and present them again.
Can you just repeat that sentence again? That was just incredible.
No.
It's just it's so powerful. I mean, it is like I'm kind of going through just here personally. Like I'm kind of going through like a rebrand of my business. Like you probably noticed, like I used to have the picture with my bow tie on, and I loved it and stuff. But as I've kind of gotten into the business, I'm like, and I wear glasses now, and I'm like on the computer, I'm like I got a different tune, if you will, with the brand, and things change, we evolve, and I love how you said that so effortlessly and just and beautifully, just that we all are unique and we all have value, and that value is our own to share
Mhm.
out there. I want to talk a bit and get from your expertise, obviously being the SME and the professional voiceover actor, you know, coach extraordinaire, all that good stuff. Why should folks consider going on video, right? If maybe they haven't gone on video before for content, or they're looking to try to find a new way to, get their content out there. Why video? Why is it such an important aspect of content
Well,
creation based on
I will give
experience?
you two answers. The first one is visibility. Did you know that about 89% of people who are looking online watch video? And a lot of them, especially, are not just on social media like Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, of course, but they're also on YouTube. And did you know that YouTube is the second biggest search engine after Google, which coincidentally owns it? And short videos, the
Huh?
ones that you show vertically, are there and they're being promoted just like they are on LinkedIn and everywhere else. So you can be found.
Hmm.
And if people are going to be looking you up, they're going to do it a couple ways. One, they're going to go to your website. So you need to have a website. But they're also going to check you out on social media to see who you are, what you are like, whether they want to do business with you. And from that first glance, they get an idea of, is this somebody that I like enough that I'm going to want to get to know? Once I get to know them, can I really trust that you know what you're doing and saying, and that we have that credibility? And then they might want to do business with you. But they're going to check you out very thoroughly, and you
Mm.
have to be there before they can even find you. The second reason is because you want to convert more clients. Now, there are a lot of people who are making videos out there, but they're not seeing any results
Mm.
because there's some right ways of making them and some mistakes that you might want to learn from. And so you have to also learn how it works in today's market because everything is changing so quickly. We're dealing with AI. How do you compete against AI? I got an answer or two.
Yeah, you beat me. Yeah, you beat me to it, man.
There
Go
is,
ahead. I was going to ask that
okay,
eventually,
bring it
but yeah.
on. I mean,
No,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, but you have to have your own secret sauce, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be fake. It's going to be uniquely you. And hint, hint, it means because you're human,
Mm,
you're going to connect with other people as a human, not as an imitation
mm,
of a robot. So,
mm, mm. The human, I mean, you know how I feel about that. I mean, you know,
I
like
know.
it, you know. I don't even have to share it. You already know, like, just how I feel about that. Like it's so important and so true. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So let's run us through, because one thing you said early on, and I have it written down, like just, and I'm always curious. Just this is like the recruiter in me a little bit, from corporate to creative.
Yes.
Like, I want you to dig a little deeper into that story, right? Like, what was that? Was there like a aha moment or some kind of like experience within your journey where you're like, I want to get out of the corporate space, or I want to go on my own? Like, what was that like
Well,
for you?
part one is there's going to be a confession involved. Okay.
Okay,
Part two, it's talking about transitions in life, and life sometimes brings you things you didn't expect. And three,
sure.
it's learning from others, even from your kids. So let's tie it all up in a bow here and explain what that is. First of
Yeah.
all, the confession. I've always loved performing. Even as a little kid, I was the one putting on fairy tales in front of my parents for as long as they sit and watch since I was 2 or 3 years old. I did the plays. And when I was an adult working in the corporate space, I did theater and I took classes. I even did, this is the confession part, I would sneak out of some of those meetings because as a sales rep, you have a little bit more flexibility. The meetings that I might have been in, or I was supposed to be out calling on customers, well, I was calling on producers and directors and I was auditioning as well. And I was filming a bunch of things, but I couldn't devote to it. So then it comes to the transition. The big transition for me, which I hadn't expected until it happened, was When I had my first baby, I never thought I'd be a stay-at-home mom. When we're playing house when we're little kids, I was never the mother. I was the cool aunt. I knew it even then.
Yeah.
But when I was very pregnant, which by the way, if you are in sales and you want to make a sale, show up in your third trimester, ideally at an older male customer's site, looking very big and ready to drop at any moment, and just say, well, I need you to sign here because otherwise I'm going to be just giving this baby right here and then. And most of those guys freaked out. Oh, yeah, whatever you want. We don't want to say no to an almost mother of a pregnant woman. It was a lot of fun. I just milked it for all it was worth. The actress. Then, and I became a stay-at-home mom because I saw they were taking my entire pipeline away from me. But as soon as I held that little
Yeah.
baby, a little switch just got flipped. That baby needed me. And I made that decision. I never
Mm.
anticipated I'm going to be home for them. And I did stuff on the side. That's true. Then fast forward to learning from your kids. Sometime later, and then I had a daughter, and she was like a little mini me, and she loved to perform. And I got her into musical theater for children, and it was an excellent experience. And then eventually, she really wanted to get into film and TV. So eventually, we went out and she found an agent, and the agent was looking for older people. So I dusted off my old stuff and said, well, why should my daughter have all the fun? Put my stuff out there, and then I was off and running ever since. So be aware of the changes in your life. Take them as they roll. You may feel like there's a setback in one area, but it could push you forward in something else. And just realize, I know
Love
it's
that.
tried and true. It's a journey, it's an adventure, but be open to it because we're not just one thing. I started off as a financial analyst in computer science and stats. Now I am being literally on TV, being stabbed and punched, nearly decapitated, or on the other hand, I'm holding a blaster to a superhero. Which is more fun, do you think? Cubicle
Right.
or
I love
just
it.
saying.
I love it. I love it. No, I love your story. I really do appreciate you sharing that with us in the audience. That was really, I mean, that's really incredible. Just how like, how these changes, whether they're big changes or small changes, are all, like you said, they're all a part of the journey, which
Mhm.
I completely resonate with because obviously the motto of fulfillment is fulfilling your journey. Like it's
That's
all
right.
about that. It's all about the journey, not the destination. And I love it. I love that about you so much. Let's say for those people, right, Laura, where they're like, okay, I haven't gone out on video and I want to kind of get started. Like, what's the best way? Like, how can they start to get on video? Number one, and then kind of a second parter is obviously with the theme being how to be comfortable and confident. Like, how can they gain more confidence, just generally speaking, or if you want to go into detail about it, however you want, to get on
Okay, well, let me
camera.
just give you some of the highlights. First of all, if
Yes.
you wanna find out what it's like and get over your fear, I'm sure most of us have one of these, and it is a great way to get started. If you're gonna be on TikTok or Instagram, you probably have started, but if you haven't, you don't even have to post it. Put it on a nice little tripod and just talk about what you had for breakfast. Get used to the idea, the medium. And the most important thing is please do not worry about what you look like. Don't worry about what you sound like or what you wear. Forget about thinking, I'm not attractive enough or smart enough or I don't have the perfect this or that because none of us do. And it doesn't matter. The important thing is the message and connecting with the individual. So, in terms of getting comfortable, let's say you want to start doing this, there are a few things you can do. One, you got to get comfortable in your own skin. So, that was the bit of the mindset. You also want the physicality. I always hold next to me a glass of water. Hydrate, hydrate,
Yeah.
hydrate with water, not beer, folks. Save that for afterwards. You're going to want to get enough sleep
Yeah.
and you want to get into your body
Oh, that's
easily.
good.
So, you see how I have my shoulders up to my ears? Drop them. Up, down, move your head around. Do some squats. If you can exercise sometime
Mm.
beforehand, even if it's just walking around outside a bit, that is going to help you. And if you really want to get your face and your voice warmed up, these are some really simple things you can do. You can just move the muscles. Just how about with the eyebrows? You ever been at a children's museum where you can work with the puppets or something and make the eyebrows go up, down, up, down, up, down? Same with the mouth. And if you want something really silly, and we know we're not above being silly here,
Right?
Move your tongue around. And then, yes, yes, pant like a dog. It looks weird,
I
but it
love it.
relaxes things. And you'd be surprised.
I love it.
So that's just the tip of the iceberg. You're also going to want to know your setup. So you're going to want to have a camera. And by the way, these things work pretty well. A tripod so it's steady, so you're not moving up and down and sideways. While you're doing that, you're going to learn how to work within your frame. So you're not going to be too wild in your movements, but you're going to understand we're all in little boxes like this or longer boxes. Get to working with that and understand it. Then you're going to want to have some lights. Ring lights are terrific. If you're outside and using the natural light, put the sun in front of you or overhead, but never right behind you, because then you'll all be washed out. And cloudy days are perfect for shooting. For sound, oftentimes you don't even need to have something special. Like I'm sitting at my desktop right here, and I'm just using the microphone built in because it works pretty well. My room is treated.
Yeah. You sound great.
And we have
Yeah,
other
you sound
external
very well.
mics, and for my voiceover work, everything is properly treated and all that. But that's okay.
Yeah.
And then a backdrop so that it reinforces your message and doesn't distract. And then there are all kinds of other things we can do from there that are more advanced. Like, for example, talk to one person, only one person. Look at that light. So you're looking at one person. Remember that anything small on camera is going to look huge on a screen. That's why people look at the eyes specifically. And if you're used to being on the stage, it's very different when you're on camera. You can't be as large and you have to modify it. There are ways of dealing with things like verbal crutches. If you, we can work with that. There are ways of being able to handle jitteriness, or do I sit or am I supposed to stand? And what should I even be writing about? What should I speak about? There's a whole bunch, but that's probably enough to get you started.
Wow. That's a lot of really good insights. And I mean, I I had to like laugh internally, like when you were doing a lot of the
Yeah,
tongue
yeah.
stuff and everything, because I mean, because being a voice major over here
You
in
know,
university, we did a lot of that to relax the
yeah,
face. Exactly. Exercise. I love that. I resonate with that just because of my Orange Theory workouts. I did a 4-mile run before, a couple
you
hours before
know.
we were here now, which is exactly. It's a much more chill fill. I have to say chill fill. That's what I do. And I really loved just the whole lighting, this put the sun in front of you. That's something that's very important. That's something I subconsciously have thought about, but haven't like consciously thought about. So I think that's really important, like for me to remember, like, hey, light here.
Okay.
That's good. And sleep, I mean, it's huge. I mean, that's incredible. And no alcohol. I
Save
agree
it
with
for
that.
later.
I agree
Save the
with that.
peanut butter for later.
I agree
Save the
with that.
chocolate and anything caffeinated for later.
I agree with that. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is amazing. This is great. Yeah, we've got a couple more minutes. I definitely want to ask more and definitely get into some other things too with you. Um, so you've got kind of some really good insights on how people can get started. Talk to us too about like I want to say like consistency, but let's say somebody's started, they're on video, they're making it happen. Like, and I was guilty of this for a while,
Yeah.
right? Where I would start and then I was good for a little bit and then I just kind of fell off the planet and I stopped, right? Like, how can people not get to that point, or how can they kind of maintain a schedule, like a content schedule, or kind of remain consistent with, their content and
Well, there's
video?
several things I'd say. One of them would be anything that you're starting to make for the very first time is going to be kind of crappy. Get over it. It doesn't matter. Everybody has that where you look back later on and you cringe. It's just doing it on a regular, consistent basis. Now, if you can't do that, let's say lay out the time every week, then batch it. You might want to be picking, let's say, a Friday afternoon, maybe a Sunday morning, or wherever it's a good time, and then just create a whole bunch of them. Remember that you can always edit afterwards. So you don't have to have every little or twitch showing. You can edit. And so you can take your time.
Mm,
You can also do it as much as you like. But here's also something. Don't overdo it. Because if you're trying to get it just right, you can be spending your entire day trying to get it just right. And it's going to feel less spontaneous and less
mm,
authentic. First of all, know what you're going to say, and then use pictures to imagine it. because we're all very visual as human beings, and stories are the best way to communicate. So come up with a story that you're telling somebody and put it in your own mind and visualize it, and then just speak naturally. Now, if you need to put a little bullet point here or there, that's fine. Whatever works for you, get into a habit. And then, like I said, either try to do it the same time every week or plan on doing 3 to 5 at a time. And then you can edit it and then distribute them evenly whenever you want to.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I be natural. I love how your insights are all around like, don't be hard on
No, no,
yourself.
no, no.
Like me, type A right here.
Perfectionist, and you're just thinking,
I
oh
know.
my gosh, do I really look like that? Oh, why would I do that? And oh, this is so big. Nobody cares.
I
It's,
know.
what I have found, there's an advantage to getting older. As you get older, you worry less about what other people think. And that means you less worry about what you bring to the table in terms of all the superficial things. And that allows the inner personality to come out. And hopefully you got a good personality. You've got a positive spirit because it can bring out, and what's infectious is the joy, the love of what you do, the passion for what you do,
Mm,
and most importantly, that you really care about the other person. Because if we're in business, we're trying to solve somebody else's problem or at least offer a solution. And when we don't worry about all the externals, but think about what's important and how I can serve my audience, that's what's going to make a good video.
mm. How I can serve my audience. I'm writing that down literally, like, because it's important. It's a question that I ask myself all the time, and it's such a good one, right? Like, because like you said earlier in the live, things change and the way we serve our audience may change.
Yes,
But the thing is, at the end of the day, our value is always going to be there. Our impact is always going to be there. And I think for me, especially too, like when I'm working with my career coaching clients with fulfillment, a lot of it is when I'm helping to really build their confidence and get their mindset right and sell themselves, on resume,
yes,
LinkedIn, but then also, in those interviews, right? A lot of what you're saying goes so hand in hand with that because it is all around just them, sharing their most natural self
perfect.
and the value that they
Can
bring. I
I
love
can
that.
I bring that up
That's
with
great.
2 little anecdotes or something?
Absolutely,
Okay,
please do.
first of all, when people think of video, they're mostly thinking about selling to their customers or to leads. That's something external. And you do want to appear as yourself and as authentic. But don't forget, especially if you're an executive and maybe you're creating training videos or messages to your employees, how do you want to be perceived as, let's say, the guy who's running the department or the gal who's running this company, whatever it might be? You want to speak to them as human beings, and people want to know who
Mm,
you are and being relatable. So when you can just be yourself and drop the artifice, stop thinking about whatever position you have or you don't have, but just speak because you care about your employees. You want to help your customer. That is how you're going to come across. Because I've talked and worked with executives as well as people who are starting up their own business as a service provider. It's all about allowing people to see who you are, how you can serve them, and the credibility that goes along with whatever you're saying.
mm. I love that. Being relatable to others. I love that. I love that. I love that. Because then you're right. I mean, they will see that. They will see that in you. I love it. I love it. And I'm getting to like, don't overthink either,
Yeah.
right? Like that's kind of what I'm like, it's kind of takeaway I'm getting. Like, don't overthink about it.
Yeah.
Just do it, make it happen.
Yeah.
Life's
If,
good.
if you're
I
a
love it.
perfectionist, type A like us, and that's another reason we do it so well. Think about this otherwise too. Perfection is not really that attractive, honestly. That you can have a robot do that, and it gets boring. It's the same measured pace all the time. It's fine. We don't feel like we can aspire to it. But how many times do people wait and see if there's going to be a train wreck? How many times do people love to see how somebody overcomes an obstacle? How many times do we like somebody who seems like they're vulnerable and revealing a pain they had and how they overcame it to give us inspiration? And how many people really love a good story rather than just a bunch of information perfectly delivered? In voiceover, there is the pretty voice where I can sound so nice and you love to hear it, but you might get tired after a while. Then there's the authentic conversational voice where I'm really talking to you where you live, right? Are you listening? Yeah, there's a difference.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And just like that, we have a few more minutes till the half here, but I always like to ask this final question for those folks who are gonna listen to the replay, and for those folks who are catching live. What is the one key takeaway that you want to give our audience on this awesome live, and why? What should they take from all of
Be
this?
human. Why? Because I'm pretty sure you want to beat the AI bots, right?
Yeah,
Well, perfection, if you're trying to aspire to that, ain't going to do it. You outhuman the bots because they can't offer the emotion and the connection. So be yourself and let the world see the beautiful person you are.
love it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'm sorry we don't get
That
along
is
very
such a
well, Phil. I'm so
what's
sorry
that?
we don't get along very well here.
I know, I know, I know.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. But yes, this has been fantastic. Everybody, for those in the audience streaming on her channels, my channels, we appreciate you all. Laura, thank you so much for tuning in and being here with us. This has just been 30 minutes flies by, but this has been such an amazing, and very insightful episode
May
of
I
Fulfillment Live. Thank you
may
for
I offer
being
your
here.
audience a gift?
You sure can. Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Please,
This
please
is
do.
a PDF that's easily downloadable. It's my top 10 tips, strategies, steps, whatever you want to call it, to really show up on camera with confidence and charisma. Just go to my website, lauradoman.com/gift, GIFT, and it's yours.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Let me get you also have your link tree, which
Yeah,
got
I've
everything right
got
there. So I've got a
everything in
QR
there.
code that
Yeah,
people can there. And then this is just your
that is
website
my
too,
website. I've got a blog
lauradoman.com.
with tips all the time. I've got a LinkedIn newsletter that has monthly great tips, YouTube
Gift right
videos.
there.
So just go check me out.
So lauradoman.com
Yep,
slash gift right
that's it.
there. There it is. How about that? And where else can folks find you? I know they've got you on LinkedIn here. I've got your LinkedIn URL here.
I'm
They can
all
find you
over the
there.
place. Yeah.
I've got your QR code for LinkedIn there as well. So that's coming up
All right.
there. And
Fancy,
Instagram. I know
fancy.
you've got a couple Instagram
I'll have to call you
accounts.
Fancy Phil.
Fancy Phil. I try. I've learned a lot with lives for sure. I've been doing them for a while. Laura V. Doman. But by the way, y'all, if y'all have Instagram, we're going to take this conversation all the way over to Instagram here in the next few minutes. So definitely tune in there. Laura V. Doman for her Instagram. Mine is FulPHILLment Solutions, which is right here. So if y'all have a few more minutes and want to hear the conversation continue, we're going to be heading over there shortly. Laura, thank you for being
Oh,
here.
my
We
pleasure. Thank
appreciate
you,
you.
everybody, for watching, and reach out if you like.
Yes.